It's late now. The world outside grows silent. Shadows stretch long across forgotten walls. You breathe in slowly and let your thoughts drift beyond the noise of the day, beyond the world you know. Somewhere between dream and memory, history begins to whisper. Have you ever wondered if some stories were never meant to be told? Tonight, as you close your eyes, let your mind wander beyond time, into a world where secrets sleep beneath the earth, where names once spoken still echo through the dark. These are not myths, not fairy tales. They are echoes of the past, stories carved in stone and blood. That left behind fear, death, and sleepless nights. So take a deep breath, feel the air grow still. You are safe here, only your mind will travel. This is Mystic Orient Sleep, and these are the deadly curses in history. Long ago, beneath the golden sands of Egypt, there slept a boy king, and Tutankhamun. For over 3,000 years, his tomb lay untouched, sealed in silence, watched over by gods and shadows. Until one day, in the winter of 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter brushed away the last grains of dust and peered into eternity. "Can you see anything?" Lord Carnarvon asked. Carter paused and whispered, "Yes, wonderful things." But the wonder soon turned to dread. The newspapers called it the curse of the Pharaohs. Within weeks, strange whispers filled the desert air. The locals spoke of an inscription said to be carved near the tomb's entrance. "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the peace of the king." Not long after, Lord Carnarvon was bitten by a mosquito, a small, harmless wound, until it grew dark. Fever followed, then silence. He died suddenly in Cairo. That very night, the lights in the city flickered out, and back in England, his dog howled and fell dead at the same moment. The press went mad. Reporters from London to New York filled headlines with words like, "Ancient curse claims its first victim." Soon after, more names were added to the list. Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, the radiologist who first examined the mummy, died suddenly. George J. Gould, who visited the tomb only once, died of a fever days later. By 1930, over 20 people connected to the tomb's discovery were dead. Coincidence? Or something far older, far quieter, guarding what should never have been touched? And yet, Howard Carter, the man who found the tomb, lived 16 more years. He denied any curse. He said only this: the tomb was peaceful. The danger was within us. Perhaps the curse was never written in stone, nor spoken by any god. Perhaps it lives in the hearts of those who forget that time itself does not like to be disturbed. Tonight, as you breathe slowly, imagine the sands closing again. The torches fade, the air grows still. The king sleeps once more, and the desert keeps its secrets. Deep beneath the ancient soil of India, a spark of blue fire was born, forged under the weight of time, pressed by the earth for over 1 billion years until it shone with a light no man had ever seen, hypnotic and alive. They say it was found in the Golconda mines, a place where diamonds were said to breathe. The miners believed this stone was not of the earth, but of the mines. The gem, they said, was torn from the eye of a sacred idol, a god who could see both fortune and doom. And in that moment, the god went blind on one side, and his curse fell upon mankind. The gem changed hands quickly, merchants, smugglers, kings, until one man carried it across the sea to France. There, it was presented to King Louis XIV, the Sun King. He gazed into it and saw his reflection shimmering like heaven itself. Le Bleu de France, he named it, the blue of France. Under candlelight, the diamond burned like frozen lightning. He wore it only on holy days, believing it brought divine favor. But favor, like light, always fades. Years passed. The palace glittered. The people starved. Louis's bloodline continued until it reached Louis XVI and his queen, Marie Antoinette. The diamond was seen again, around her neck at royal banquets, reflecting the candlelight, and perhaps the anger of a nation. Then came the revolution. The blue vanished. The king and queen were dragged to the guillotine. Some say the diamond had already fled, smuggled away in the chaos. Others whispered it watched every drop of royal blood from afar. Decades later, in this fog of London, the gem resurfaced, smaller, recut, as if its edges had been sharpened by tragedy itself. Its new name, the Hope Diamond. But hope was never what it brought. The first to own it, Henry Philip Hope, died deep in debt. His family fought over the gem, losing their fortune, their homes, their peace. In time, it passed to a French jeweler who lent it to a young woman for a gala. That same night, her carriage overturned. she never woke again. Its glow was the color of twilight, not sky blue, not ocean blue, but the blue of something eternal. One by one, each name became a ghost in the demon's reflection. In 1910, the stone reached America, bought by the famed jeweler Pierre Cartier, who sold it to a socialite, Evelyn Walsh McLean. She loved it instantly. She wore it at every party, saying the curse was nonsense. But soon her son was killed in an accident. Her husband went mad. Her daughter took her own life. The blue fire had claimed another family. When Evelyn died, the diamond was locked away. Then a man named Harry Winston bought it and chose to give it up. He mailed it, yes, mailed it, in a simple brown envelope to the Smithsonian Museum. Later, owners met stranger fates. A Russian prince found lifeless beside a broken mirror. A Turkish sultan strangled by his own guards. A singer who leapt into the Seine clutching the air, as if reaching for a blue light that wasn't there. Coincidence? Or the final echo of a god's blind eye? Today, the Hope Diamond rests behind glass. Tourists stand in silence, watching it shimmer in the dark. 45 carats of living blue fire. The package arrives safely, but the mailman broke his leg a week later. His wife died soon after. His house burned down. Scientists call it phosphorescence, Mohan. The light that lingers after darkness, but maybe, just maybe, it's the souls that never left. Some say, if you look long enough, you can see faces move within the gem, the ghosts of its past owners, still trapped in its glow. In the ashes of forgotten homes, sometimes, something remains. Not gold, not stone, but a painting, a child's face frozen in tears. The world calls him the crying boy. The story began not in fear, but in art. In the 1950s, across Europe, a series of portraits appeared. Children with wet eyes, soft shadows, and sorrow painted so vividly that people felt something move inside them. The artist was said to be Giovanni Bragolin, a painter from Spain, or maybe Italy. No one truly knows. He painted dozens of crying children, sometimes boys, sometimes girls. But one portrait became the most famous of all. A young boy, dark hair, eyes full of grief, and one perfect tear, shining like glass. It became a phenomenon. Prints were sold everywhere. Corner shops, markets, even furniture stores. Hanging it on your wall was said to invite compassion, as if sharing in this boy's pain might bring empathy to your home. But compassion sometimes attracts something darker. In September of 1985, a fire broke out in a small home near Rotherham, England. Flames devoured the house in minutes. When firefighters arrived, they found nothing left standing. Nothing but a single painting on a blackened wall, untouched. The crying boy stared through the smoke, tear unbroken, colors as bright as the day it was painted. The firefighters said they'd seen it before. Other fires, other houses, the same painting, always surviving. A reporter from the Sun newspaper caught the story. The headline read, "Blaze Curse of the Crying Boy." Overnight, the legend was born. More stories poured in. Homes across England, each burned to ashes, each with the same untouched painting inside. People began to whisper, "It's cursed." Bragolin, haunted by guilt, painted the boy's face again and again, as if trying to trap the curse within the canvas. But every copy printed carried the same sadness and maybe the same fire. Across Britain, fear took hold. People ripped the paintings from their walls. Some buried them in gardens, others burned them, or tried to. But the paint refused to burn. Even in the fire, the crying boy would not fade. One radio host decided to end the fear. He invited listeners to bring their cursed portraits to a large field outside the city. Hundreds arrived, carrying frames wrapped in newspaper. Faces turned away. Together, they lit the bonfire. Flames reached high, orange, blue, white, and for a moment they thought it was over. But the next morning, as the embers cooled, pieces of canvas remained. The faces, still faintly visible in the ash. Scientists later said the paintings were coated with fire-retardant varnish. Simple, logical, but people didn't believe because not every painting had survived, only the crying boy. Some said the boy in the portrait was an orphan named Don Bonillo, a child whose parents died in a fire. The artist, they claimed, had adopted him. Until one night, the boy's sorrow turned to flame. The studio burned down and the boy vanished. Maybe the real curse was not in the fire, but in the empathy it demanded. People couldn't look away. The more they stared, the more they felt his grief, until it became their own. And that's how sadness spreads, quietly, beautifully, like smoke. Tonight, if you ever see him in a gallery or a dim corner of an old house, don't be afraid. Just close your eyes and let the boy finally sleep. Some said the varnish was just part of the story. Others believed that the sadness itself protected the painting. That sorrow does not burn easily. Even today, people still find them in old houses, thrift shops, charity stores. Eyes behind dusty glass, still crying quietly, waiting to be seen. Some stories do not sleep. Some stare back from behind glass. Over 100 years ago, in 1904, Robert was given to a young boy named Eugene Otto, the son of a wealthy family. The doll was a gift, they said, from a servant who practiced voodoo. The boy adored it. He named it after himself, Robert. He dressed it in a sailor's outfit, talked to it every day, and told his parents that the doll could talk back. At first, they thought it was imagination, until they began to hear it too. Voices, two of them, whispering behind closed doors. One was the boy. The other, lower, slower, not quite human. Neighbors said they saw Robert the doll move from one window to another when the family wasn't home. Sometimes his expression changed, ever so slightly, from a smile to something darker. At night, Eugene would wake up screaming, furniture overturned, toys scattered across the room. "Robert did it," he'd say. Robert was angry. In a quiet museum in Key West, Florida, a doll sits in a glass case. Its sailor suit is faded, its face is cracked and old, but its eyes, small, black, and glossy, still watch every visitor who walks by. His name is Robert. When Eugene died in 1974, Robert the doll was left behind in the house. The new owners found it in the attic, sitting upright, eyes gleaming in the dark. Soon after, strange things began to happen. Footsteps upstairs. Laughter echoing faintly in the night. The neighbors heard a voice say, "I'm still here." Eventually, the doll was donated to the East Martello Museum. Staff placed it behind glass where it remains today. Soft music transitions, eerie calm. But even in the museum, the curse continued. Cameras malfunction, visitors fall ill, and those who take photos without asking Robert's permission claim they suffer accidents days later. The museum keeps a wall of letters, thousands of them, from people begging for forgiveness. "I'm sorry, Robert," they write. "Please lift the curse." Some letters come from far away, Japan, Germany, Brazil, from tourists who didn't believe me until something strange followed them home. The staff says the doll sometimes changes position overnight. Security guards hear soft tapping on the glass after midnight, and in recordings, faint whispers appear, a child's laughter, a sigh. Scientists say it's nonsense. Static, imagination, a trick of the mind. But still, when the lights are off and the room grows silent, you can almost feel his eyes watching. They say Robert holds the energy of everything he's seen. Decades of love, fear, and loneliness trapped in cloth and straw. And maybe that's all a curse really is. Emotion that never found rest. O night, as you drift towards sleep, imagine Robert the doll finally closing his eyes. The whispers fade, the house grows quiet, and only the sound of the sea remains. Outside his window where he's been waiting for over a century. As Eugene grew older, the doll stayed with him. Even when he moved away, he took it, always keeping it in a chair by his bed. His wife, Anne, hated it. She said it made her feel watched. Sometimes she swore she saw its head turn ever so slightly toward her. There are many cursed dolls in the world, but only one became a legend. Her name is Annabelle. She doesn't move on her own. She doesn't speak. She simply waits with a painted smile and glassy, unblinking eyes. The story began in 1970 in a small apartment in Connecticut. A young nurse named Donna received a gift from her mother, a simple rag doll with red yarn hair and a hand-stitched smile. She placed it on her bed. It looked harmless, childlike. But soon, strange things began to happen. Donna would leave the apartment and return to find the doll in a different position. Sometimes it sat upright. Sometimes it faced the window. Once it was found kneeling on the floor, hands pressed together as if praying. At first, she and her roommate Angie thought it was a prank, until the doll began to move when no one was home. Notes began to appear, small pieces of parchment written in a child's handwriting. Words like, "Help us," "Help Lou." They didn't own parchment. They didn't know anyone named Lou. Then one night, Lou, a friend visiting, woke up to find the doll sitting on his chest, its head turned slowly toward him, and something cold, invisible, gripped his throat. When he awoke, claw marks covered his body. Terrified, Donna contacted a priest. The priest called two investigators, a husband and wife known for studying the supernatural. Their names were Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens examined the doll and the apartment. They found no evil spirit inside the doll, but something darker around it. They believed that a demonic entity was pretending to be the spirit of a child, using the doll to earn sympathy. The Warrens blessed the home, sealed the doll, and took it away. They placed Annabelle in a wooden box lined with prayers, locked behind glass in their occult museum. A sign reads, "Warning, positively, do not open." Visitors often laughed until their car brakes failed on the drive home. One young man tapped on the glass, mocking the doll. Hours later, he died in a motorcycle crash. Lorraine Warren said the doll didn't move anymore, but its presence filled the room like a storm before rain. Even now, she remains there, behind the glass, her head slightly tilted, her eyes dark and hollow. Some say she still grows warm to the touch, as if breathing. Priests bless her case twice a month, and still they say she hums sometimes just before closing time. Scientists say it's old fabric expanding in heat. Others say it's the sound of something ancient, waiting to be remembered. Priests bless her case twice a month, and still they say she hums sometimes just before closing time. Soft hum in background. Scientists say it's old fabric expanding in heat. Others say it's the sound of something ancient, waiting to be remembered. And maybe that's all ghosts really are. Memories that never learned how to rest. There are objects in this world that seem ordinary until you touch them. They call it the Dybbuk Box, a small handcrafted wooden cabinet once used for wine, now known for something far older. In ancient Jewish folklore, a Dybbuk is a wandering soul, not evil, just lost. A spirit clinging to the living, desperate to finish something it could not in life. The word Dybbuk means to cling, a haunting, not of malice but of unfinished grief. The box's story began before the Second World War in Krakow, Poland. A young woman, deeply spiritual, believed she had trapped a Dybbuk, a dark spirit, inside a wooden wine cabinet using wax, Hebrew prayers, and a ritual known only to the Kabbalists. Before she died, she warned her family, never open the box, never let it breathe again. After the war, the cabinet disappeared, traded, sold, forgotten like so many relics of grief. Decades later, in the early 2000s, an American man named Kevin Mannis stumbled upon it at an estate sale. He bought it, not knowing what it was. Inside, he found strange items: a lock of hair tied with cord, 2 old coins, a small granite statue engraved with Hebrew letters, a wine goblet, and a single dried rose. He brought it home. That night, he dreamed of an old woman with deep black eyes, whispering in a language he didn't know. The next morning, he woke to the smell of jasmine and decay. The lights flickered. Doors opened and closed. Shadows moved across the walls like smoke without fire. His mother visited days later, curious about the antique. She touched the box. Within minutes, she collapsed, suffering a stroke. Kevin panicked. He gave the box away, but each new owner claimed the same things: nightmares of the same old woman, cold air seeping from the box like breath, the faint cry of someone unseen. In 2003, the Dybbuk Box appeared on eBay. The seller wrote that it was cursed, that his house smelled of ammonia and flowers, that every night he woke at 3:33 a.m. to the sound of crying. The listing went viral. The internet called it the most haunted object ever sold. Soon it was purchased by a museum curator named Jason Haxton. He thought it was superstition until he brought it home. He began to feel ill. He bled from his eyes. He heard voices calling his name at night. He tried blessing the box. He tried burying it. Each time it returned, showing up in his home as if it had never left. Eventually, Jason sealed it again, wrapping it in gold cloth and surrounding it with holy relics. He said, "You can't destroy what it holds. You can only calm it." Years later, the box found its final resting place in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. It sits behind glass now, surrounded by salt, prayer scrolls, and fear. Some say the air changes near it, heavier, colder. Guests report feeling pressure on their chest, headaches, and dreams for weeks afterward. In 2020, musician Post Malone visited the museum. He touched the box's handle, only for a second. Weeks later, his private jet's engines failed. His car crashed. His home was robbed. Coincidence, perhaps, but the story spread and the legend deepened. Today, the Dybbuk Box remains sealed, locked in its case behind thick glass. The museum warns visitors not to stare too long, not to whisper its name. Scientists call it myth. Skeptics say it's nothing but suggestion and fear. But belief, once spoken aloud, becomes its own kind of curse. Because maybe it isn't a demon at all. Maybe it's grief, trapped in wood and memory. The echo of a soul that refused to be forgotten. Tonight, imagine the Dybbuk Box resting quietly, the wax seal unbroken, the whispers gone, and the lost soul within it finally sleeping in peace. History never truly ends. Sometimes it just changes form. You've heard its story, the Hope Diamond, a stone of impossible blue, born from fire, carried through centuries of beauty and blood. But what if I told you its story didn't end in the museum? The gem now rests in the Smithsonian Institution under a halo of lights. Thousands pass it each day, children, tourists, dreamers, all staring at the shimmer of eternity behind glass. One night in 2020, a security camera caught a flicker of movement, a flash of blue light that seemed to pulse inside the gem itself. The footage went viral. Some said it was reflection. Others weren't so sure. That same month, the world outside fell silent. Streets empty, flights grounded, cities asleep. And somewhere in the museum's dark halls, the Hope Diamond sat alone again, glowing faintly in the dark. Staff reported strange things. The alarm tripped at 3 a.m., though no one was there. A camera near the exhibit stopped recording for exactly 13 seconds. When it resumed, the gem seemed slightly tilted. In the weeks that followed, rumors began to spread online. People said the curse had reawakened, that the gem fed not on death, but on attention, that every story told about it made it stronger. It wasn't killing anymore. It was remembering. Historians trace strange coincidences: museum curators falling ill, staff quitting after vivid dreams of a blue light flooding their homes. One visitor wrote in her blog, "When I stood before it, I felt like it was watching me, not through glass, but through time." Scientists analyzed the gem again. Under ultraviolet light, it glowed bright red, a glow that lasted longer than any diamond ever recorded. They called it phosphorescence, but ancient myths would call it memory, the light that lingers after darkness. And perhaps that's what all curses are, not punishment, but persistence. The refusal of the past to fade away. Because every story you remember, every object you touch, carries the echo of the people who came before. The Pharaoh's tomb, the crying boy, the sailor doll, the Dybbuk box, all of them fragments of the same truth. That grief and beauty are eternal. And sometimes the things we call curses are simply history refusing to die. Tonight, as you lie in the dark, picture that blue diamond. It no longer burns. It no longer curses. It simply glows. A heart of the earth still beating, carrying every whisper, every fear, every memory we ever gave it. Because in the end, the curse was never the object. It was us. Our need to remember what should be forgotten. And now, as the last echoes fade, let the diamond's light dim in your mind. Let the voices rest. Let the past finally sleep. The guides say it's safe now, that the curse is broken. But sometimes when the museum closes and the last light fades, staff hear a sound, like glass vibrating softly, as if something within it still breathes. The stories you've heard tonight were never really about curses. They were about memory, about the way the past refuses to disappear as long as someone still remembers. Objects don't haunt us, we haunt them, with fear, with belief, with the pieces of ourselves we leave behind. But now the voices fade, the legends rest, the curses sleep. And so should you. Good night.